My name is Mike Selby. I'm Deputy Director of the Cranbrook Public Library here in British Columbia, Canada. I grew up in this town, and libraries were always the place where I didn't know I would end up, but I did end up, and it's been quite a rewarding career.
How did you come across Freedom Libraries? Did you know anything about it in the past? Were you taught about it in library science school?
That's where I encountered it. I went to the University of Alabama, and probably the first day I arrived there's this huge plaque for Autherine Lucy, who was the first African-American woman to take library science, or she tried to take, but they didn't allow African-Americans in, and there was this big riot, and she never was allowed to become a librarian. From there, I started reading books on, they had a lot of books on segregated libraries, reading there, and in the back of one, there was like a 1 cent speeding on freedom libraries. I didn't know what they were. It didn't really explain them, but I really wanted to delve into it. It became my research project for my graduate degree. They thought at the time there was only freedom libraries in Mississippi, but I found them in Alabama and Arkansas, New Orleans, and as far north as Philadelphia.
And basically, what's the whole concept around freedom libraries? What were they for, and what did they do? What did they serve?
Yeah, so freedom libraries are a product of Freedom Summer. That's in 1964, where Bob Moses and Amzie Moore decided they were trying to set up literacy centers and voter registration because of the awful literacy tests the government was using. So they thought they'd have a summer, they call it Freedom Summer, where they would bring in 1,000 people from the north, mostly white, to help out. And they thought the best way they could have these white students come into Mississippi and help would be through literacy centers and libraries. They thought books would be an ideal way to connect. Because at this time in history, African Americans were not allowed to use public libraries. Even though their taxes paid for them, this tradition, they were not allowed to set foot